look at this. Don't touch my car. Because if you touch my car, I'm going to make you give me oral sex while I brandish a baseball bat. Hello everyone, welcome back to Triad Travelogues. I am Richard, coming at you today from Shanghai, China to bring you the third episode of our new series, Shanghai ESL Nostalgia Tour. Okay, so me and my wife and my baby are leaving Shanghai, China forever, I hope, in 3 weeks. And the purpose of this series is to show you guys some of the places that I've worked as an ESL teacher here in Shanghai. You can learn a little bit about Chinese culture and a little bit about this really horrible industry that's called English as a second language. So I've had a lot of jobs that are close to different stops along the Line 9. We're gonna start here. Right now we're at Zhongshan Road. I think, I'm actually not sure because I haven't been here in a really long time, but I think we're somewhere near there, I hope. And I'm pretty sure that I'm walking into the direction of a place that I used to work called Combaby. A lot of these schools have these really stupid names. Combaby, Gold Baby, like Genius Baby, Happy Baby. I do not think that I am on the right road. Oh, I am. I am on the right road. Hey. Oh, but I'm going the wrong direction. Shit. It's like 50% my fault, but it's 50% China's fault. Yeah, I'm in territory that I recognize now. See, I actually only worked at this place for like maybe 6 months. And the conditions, the working conditions they were unbearable, and they got so bad that I had to quit. Wait a minute. No, I was fired. That's actually what happened. Now that I remember, I was fired, but I was gonna quit. I gotta show you guys the elephants. We gotta check out the elephants before we go further. See, this place is surrounded by these giant stone elephants. Oh, and just in case you were wondering, this elephant is a man, and this one over here is a woman. Now, this place used to be a very nice grocery store. They had a lot of Western food, and it was pretty cool. It was a nice place, kind of overpriced, but it's gone. There's a lot of failed businesses here, a lot of failed construction projects, a lot of abandoned places. It's crazy. It was a really nice place too. Man, it looks like this whole place is empty. Wow, look at this. Everything is gone. Okay, so here's some kind of agency. They used to have people in here. Gone. Look. See, this is not the kind of adventure that I reckoned I would have today. But look at this. Look at this. So that's not even the building that I worked at. This right here is the building that I worked in. This used to be a vibrant something, some kind of store. Not anymore. Now it's completely empty. This store or school or whatever it is, completely empty. Basically, this whole place is a ghost town now. Oh, wow. This is kind of creepy too. Look at this. You know what? Oh my God. I actually have been on these. I don't know if these exact ones, but I have pictures of me and my wife when she was pregnant, like 4 years ago, riding along on one of these, just in this parking lot, right out here. And now look at them. Now they're out of commission, and they're just gathering dust in a completely neglected building. Like nobody's even watching them. You can actually look through the windows of these places and you can see that most of the stores are gone. Most of the lights are out. So this is just, it looks like it's become just another empty shopping mall. You hear a lot of people say things about China's economy. People like to talk it up like, oh, the economy's doing really well. You know, China's, there's growth, there's exponential growth, and it's wonderful. And I'm here to tell you, it's not. I mean, if all of the businesses and stores are any indication, it's not doing well at all. So this was where I worked. They're a fake Montessori school called Combaby. It looks like it no longer exists. And if we come over here, you can see all of these places. They're pretty much all just empty. There's nothing going on here. I didn't expect this today. I expected change because China changes pretty rapidly and businesses come and go, but I didn't expect this. It's really, it's depressing. So I used to work at this place, Combaby, and I only worked there for about 6 months. And like I said, I got fired. But I got fired basically for being sort of non-compliant with their demands. What happened was, it was one of the first, it wasn't the first, but it was one of the first jobs that I had teaching at a school. It's not a real school. It's not even a real Montessori school. It's just, whatever. It's like, there were mostly preschool kids that went there, like 3 years old, 4 years old. They weren't ready even to learn their native language, much less English. But I was supposed to go there for, I think, an hour and a half every Thursday and teach them English. Of course, there was no lesson plan, there were no books, there was no organization at all. They just, oh, you're white, teach them English. And luckily I came in with a little bit of teaching knowledge, but it didn't really do me very much good because of the conditions that I had to work in. Oh, I want to stop real quick before I go on with the rest of my story. Here's another one. You know how I said they all have stupid names? This one's called American Baby, International English. Speak like American born. Anyway, when I say the working conditions at this Combaby place were bad, I mean, first I went in and instead of like, the very first thing I noticed when I started teaching these classes is instead of actually having the kids like use the bathroom, they would just bring a bucket out. Like a pee bucket, okay? And they would put the bucket down on the ground and the kids would just pull their pants down and squat there in front of the whole class and piss in a bucket in front of the whole class. Now that specific situation is whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I could just chalk it up to cultural differences, even though it's still really gross. But one thing that they did that would really bother me is all the grandparents would come and when they dropped their kids off, and I would do, you know, I taught my class in the morning, and instead of them leaving and dropping their kids off, they would want to stay and watch. Whoa, it's a naked person. Look, it's a mermaid. It's a naked mermaid, man. That's exactly what you want outside of your abandoned children's arcade. So what would happen is the grandparents would come in and they'd have their cell phones out and they would videotape me during my class. I'll call you, I promise. I'm not gonna call her. It's hard to describe or to explain how uncomfortable this is when you're in a room and you've got like 16 to 20 kids in this really small room. You're trying to teach these kids, they're like 3 years old, 4 years old. Some of them are crying, some of them are being wild. None of them are sitting down and doing what you're supposed to do, doing what they're supposed to do. So you're like, you know, dog, cat, showing them flashcards and nobody's listening to you and it's chaos. And in addition to all of that, you've got all of those kids, or at least let's say half of those kids' grandparents, like 10 grandparents, and they're all circling around and they've all got their phones out and they're all, you know, they're all videotaping you at the same time. These multiple, you know, a dozen videos of you are all gonna go up on WeChat Moments. So, you know, potentially thousands upon thousands of people are gonna be seeing this video of you just completely failing to teach this huge class of kids. And so I told the staff, hey, you gotta tell them to stop videotaping me. Like, it's making me nervous. I can't teach. It distracts the kids too, because the kids are all there and they're crawling all over their grandparents, you know, and the grandparents are like oblivious to everything that's going on. And so they said, okay. And they tell the grandparents not to videotape me. The teacher doesn't like to be videotaped. And it was like this weird thing. Like, they're like, huh? Like, what? And so whatever. And this interesting phenomenon here, when you ask somebody to do something, to make some kind of a change and they agree to it, it only lasts for a very short time and then they'll go back to doing it as if you never said anything. It happens all the time. And so that's what happened. It happened over and over again for 6 months. And it just got to the point where, you know, because they never listened for very long, I would just, anytime a phone came out, I would just stop and I would just stare. I would stop teaching, I would do nothing, and I would just stare at the person that was videotaping me, like stare directly into the little camera on their phone. And I would not stop staring until they put their phone away. And this is what got me fired. And this is what I'm thinking what happened was, you know, all of a sudden, instead of videos of me teaching or making an attempt to teach these chaotic classes, all of a sudden, all these videos are distributed amongst all these grandmas' WeChats of me just sitting, staring into the camera. And I guess that's not as aesthetically pleasing as me being butchered by a bunch of freaking preschoolers. So the agency that I got the job through, they contacted me and they said, hey, the school isn't happy with your attitude. They don't want you teaching there anymore. We're really, really sorry, but we're gonna have to let you go. As if I cared. And I think I was immature, and I responded by saying something about those kids pissing buckets. Those kids pissing buckets. All right, here we are at Jiuting. This is a place that has a school that I worked at for a little bit longer than a year. And it was not a school like the one I just showed you where I worked there once a week. It was a school I worked there like 3 hours a day, every day, early in the morning. I got there at like 8:30. I think I worked from like 9 to noon or something like that. I don't remember exactly. It was several years ago that I worked there. But this place was also a nightmare. It was a nightmare. It was more of a nightmare than the place that I just showed you. Mainly because the place I just showed you was just a 1 day a week nightmare. But this place, this was an every day a week nightmare. You guys think there's something wrong with that guy? So every morning, for longer than a year, I would join the masses of zombies in the horrible morning commute and stand shoulder to shoulder with other miserable people. It's funny, this place, Jiuting, for whatever reason, it floods a lot. So like when it rains, there's a ton of flooding, and the water, it always smells like sewage. So they've been calling Jiuting an up and coming area of Shanghai for years, but it still smells like shit. So I don't know when it's gonna come, but it sure as hell ain't come yet. I don't know, whenever Jiuting finally comes, I'll be in America. But if you guys see it, if you're like, oh, Jiuting came, give me a call, or send me a message or whatever, let me know. Just be good knowledge to have. Oh, Jiuting, did you hear about Jiuting? Finally came. This is the area that they've been building for so long, for years and years and years and years. But I certainly would not be surprised if it just sat here for 10 years and collected dust and nothing happened. I don't know why they do this. I don't know why there's so many buildings like this. And we're not talking about abandoned businesses. We're talking about businesses that were just built. Like, here's the building we're gonna put businesses in. Now let's go home. And then just nobody ever does anything with them. And it's very strange. It's something that I don't understand. And I've been here, like I said, half a decade. Oh. This is the 9 Miles Works Investment Center. I-N-N-E-S-T-M-E-N-T. Investment. Well, what's investment? Does anyone know what that means? I actually looked that word up in the dictionary. So I was like, what's investment? No, it's not a word. It doesn't exist. There's no investment. It's just spelled wrong. The economy's doing great. It's okay, those dogs are not dead. They're just sleeping. So there used to be a restaurant here. It was called Theme Restaurant. Theme Restaurant. But it's gone. There's nothing here. It's like closed up. So we're almost to the school that I used to work at. I don't even remember the name of the school. They called themselves a bilingual kindergarten. And the funny thing is, it was not a bilingual kindergarten. In fact, nobody at this kindergarten spoke any English. None of the teachers did. The only teacher they had that spoke English there was me. And I only worked like, I want to say 3 hours a day in the morning. But the main problem with that school was that the teachers that were in the classes, the actual like Chinese teachers that were there all the time, that were supposed to be, you think of them like homeroom teachers in the States. That's what they were, homeroom teachers. They had the kids all day. they did nothing to try and like keep the kids calm, to try and make the kids behave. They looked at it like it was a chore. Like they were always really put off if they had to do anything. Full stop. If they had to do anything, they would get so irritated, like, oh, what do I gotta do stuff now? And it got to the point where it was like, man, I could go in there to those classes and I could do anything that I wanted. Like, I could go in there and yell and scream at the kids, which I did sometimes. I could go in there and talk to them about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which I seriously sometimes did.
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, cool, shooting some b-ball outside of the school.
My own sort of apathy toward the classes at this school and toward China in general and the ESL industry, you know, my apathy started developing, and the care that I used to give just started eroding. And it happened when I was at this school. And I guess somebody noticed. I don't know how they noticed, because they would have to look up from their phones for like a couple of seconds to notice something like that. And I don't recall that ever having happened. But somebody noticed, and they told the recruitment agency that I got the job from. I think it was the same recruitment agency that I got the Qibao job from too, the Combaby job. They said the teacher has a bad attitude. Oh. But I didn't have a bad attitude for nothing. It's not like I woke up on the wrong side of the bed and I came into work and was like angry at everyone for stuff that was my fault. I mean, it's my fault that I came to China. It's my fault that I work in ESL, that's true. But the condition of the school and the working environment and the apathy of the other teachers and all that, that's not my fault, you know? And I just sort of reacted to that. They were telling the girl that got me the job, her name was Coco. She's like the 916th Coco that I've met here in China. And they told her that my attitude was bad. She told me I needed to adjust my attitude. And I told her, hey, you know what? They fired me. So don't let anybody tell you that you can't get fired from an ESL job in China. I am living proof that you can indeed get fired. You just have to try really, really hard. All right, we're coming up on the school now. I'm just gonna show you it real quick so I can get away fast. All right, now we are at Jiuting Park Station. So this station is actually pretty close to where I live. I could walk home in 20 minutes from here if I wanted to. But instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get on a bus, and we're gonna take the bus a little ways away to the last place that I'm gonna show you. This shopping mall has never been opened, ever. It's been sitting here for at least 5 years. The full length of the time that I've been in Shanghai, I pass by it on a daily basis, and it's never been used ever. It just has sat. And there used to be a security guard in here that watched over the place, but I no longer see a security guard. Maybe he's just not here today. But for many, many years, there was a security guard guarding this place that has nothing of value inside of it. Oh, I'm sitting right in the front. I don't care about old ladies or babies. So I'm going to show you this apartment complex just because I'm a completionist and I want to cover everything. I don't really have an interesting story about this kid. I only worked with him for a couple of weeks, and then we had a scheduling conflict with his mom, so I couldn't work with him anymore. The only funny thing about this kid, his name was Zyril. Z-Y-R-I-L, Zyril. And his mom's name was Saline. S-A-L-I-N-E. This is kind of a weird little complex. It has a couple of like tea shops, a store. Apparently there's a new car repair place that wasn't here before. These are pretty nice houses. This is Zero. He was pretty young. I think he was like 4 years old or something. And yeah, his parents were pretty reasonable. They were nice to me. They didn't act like psychopaths. So hey, it's a win for everybody. Uh-oh, hey, chill. I'm not doing anything to you. You get, I'm not afraid of you. How funny would it be if I had 3 weeks before I was gonna leave this horrible place, and then I get bit by a rabid dog and die. You know, I said that this was gonna be the last place that we went, and when I said it, I did mean it. I planned on this being the last place, but I wanna take you to one more place real quick. So this is the husk of all young school. This is, we recently relocated to school. The school is still around, but the location that I worked at for 5 years is no longer here. It's just, is empty. We moved a couple of weeks ago. The great thing about the move is I'm basically leaving. I'm leaving in like 5 days. I'm leaving the school. So I'm not gonna really be affected much by the move other than teaching in the new school for like a week and a half. But this old school, this shell of a school that I'm standing in right now is a place that I spent a lot of time, probably other than my apartment, this is probably the place that I've spent, well, definitely the place that I've spent the most time during my stay here in China. And I hate this place. I hate this school. I hate it. Can we get in here? Ugh. Oh, there we go. Okay. This is one room that I spent a lot of time teaching in. I've taught in every single one of these rooms, and just being in here makes me feel gross. You know, it's interesting. The reason that I decided to do this nostalgia tour was not just to entertain you, but also because I wanted to experience that nostalgia. Like I wanted to have that feeling of like, oh, you know, I used to be here and I used to work here and I used to spend time here. And you know that feeling, it's a nice feeling. It's like, oh, memories. And then you just sit in it and bask in it for a little while. You marinate in the nostalgia. And you feel good about it and you remember all the good things that happened to you and the good things that you did. But honestly, during the whole process of doing these videos, I go to these places and I feel nothing. Like I don't feel that tinge of nostalgia. I don't feel the happiness. I don't feel like, oh, you know, that I had great experiences here. I just feel sort of neutral. And I'm not saying this because I want to disparage the country. I'm not saying this because I want to be cynical. I'm just from the bottom of my heart, without me playing the role that I play on Triad Travelogues and sort of exaggerating my personality or exaggerating my eccentricities, I honestly really don't like it here. I don't like this country. I don't like the industry that I've been working in. I don't like the culture. And I wish that all those things that I just said weren't true. I wish that I could say that I love this place. I give it a 0 out of 10. Listen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did like the content, please subscribe to my channel. Be sure to leave a nice comment down in the comment section below. What other thing you're supposed to do? Oh, thumbs up, thumbs up. Give the video a big thumbs up. Tell your friends and your family about how awesome we are. And thank you for watching Triad Travelogues. My name is Richard. We'll see you next time.